There's Bird. Bird, 14 seconds, he got fouled. He hit the shot. Larry Bird. He's unconscious.
The pick and roll, I got Kevin and Danny. Danny's defensive man, Kevin's offensive man. I got so many options off the pick and roll if it's ran right. I got Kevin coming over, setting a good hard pick on Danny. I'm going to fake baseline, take a couple dribbles. If Robert follows me out so I don't shoot the jump shot, I got Kevin with Danny on his back, and all I have to do is lead him to the basket with the ball.
Did you guard Bird?
Yeah.
Okay.
Successfully? No. Did I guard him? Yes, but no. This is.
But if he liked you, he probably didn't talk trash to you.
Oh, he talked it all the time. He was constantly.
I don't know if Bird had played well or if he was frustrated. Anytime he came back to Indiana, you sensed he was a little more focused. But anyway, we had played him well the night before, the game before, and then like within a few days we had to go to the Garden, and he proceeded to drop 53 on me and whoever else was guarding.
So Larry Bird coming down the hallway, me and Chris Webber, and Larry Bird, you don't realize how big Larry Bird is until you stand up close to Larry Bird.
Exactly.
Larry Bird, legit 6'10".
Real talk. When I first stood up against him when he was coaching the pace, I was like, damn.
So he walked by us and he says, "Y'all those college guys?" And we was like, yeah, we the college guys. And he looked at us and he said, "Get some it's gonna be a long week," and walked off. And we was like, what the hell?
Hey, basketball fans. Imagine stepping on the court, trash-talking the greatest shooter alive, only to get absolutely humiliated in front of 20,000 people. Larry Bird didn't just beat opponents, he broke their souls, stole their lunch money, and left them staring into the abyss, wondering why they ever picked up a basketball. From savage trash talk to moments so cold they needed a jacket, these top 10 destructions are pure comedy gold.
The league at that time, do you have a feel for who players felt was the better player between those two?
To be honest with you, the black players gravitated to Magic and the white players gravitated to Bird.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And the people with sense could see the difference. You know, and it wasn't about color or anything else. It was, hey, this guy can ball.
Yeah.
And that's why we used to always look at Bird like, maybe he's not white.
Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and everybody's shooting the shit. And Rodney Rogers said, "Hey, Larry, you ain't hit a jumper since '84. Magic heard that shit. And we ain't think nothing of it. The next day we came in, and I never seen this. And this one I was like, this is a different breed. Magic Johnson fed Larry Bird the ball probably about 8 times in a row down court. Larry Bird got the ball on Rodney Rogers, and every time he was about to make a move, he told him what he was going to do. One dribble, pull up, going left, off glass.
Front office. Crazy.
Right.
Like, was not like.
Before the eras of LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, and the likes in the NBA, there existed the destroyer of destroyers. Here is a quick look at some of the players that were almost retired by Larry Bird.
Temps mort demanat per l'equip d'Angola.
Can you give me your all-time starting 5?
Oh, of all time?
All time.
Magic at the point. MJ at the 2. Larry Bird at the
We was like,
the guys in front of us wasn't better than us, but Kentucky head coach was coaching the team, so he started 3 guys from Kentucky. So we said, okay. But when we got in the game, we turned it out. But I saw this dude eat Jack Givens up. He was player of the year that year.
Kentucky, right?
Yeah, from Kentucky. And Larry Bird was just slicing and dicing him. And I said, oh, I called home. I said, it's true about this boy. I was calling everybody, this dude can play.
Let's start with a guy who thought he had the answers before he even asked the question. Craig Hodges stepped into the three-point contest like he owned the place, fresh off his win and probably feeling pretty good about himself. Larry Bird had already stacked up a few of those titles, but when a reporter floated the idea that Hodges' victory needed an asterisk because the legend had not shown up, Bird did not let that slide. He showed up the next time around, looked around at the competition, and basically treated the whole event like his personal backyard shooting drill. He drained shot after shot while everyone else watched their confidence evaporate faster than sweat on a hot court. Hodges walked away knowing that some crowns come with fine print written by Larry himself, and that fine print always read something like total domination delivered with a side of sarcasm.
So everybody waiting on Larry to come in. Boom! Bust the door open. Walk around. You might do a little something. Nah, you ain't got you shot yourself out in warm-up. Talking about Leon Wood. Might have fun. Yeah. Who coming in second? Let's take the picture. And then take off his sweat jacket. And Birdie got me.
So tell us about what All-Star Weekend means to you and how tough it was, and who are some of the guys you competed against in those three-point contests that you won?
Well, for me, when we look like he was talking about Larry Bird, Larry was able to shoot the ball from a set shot. And for me, it was one of those things. After he beat me the first couple times, it was, a jump shooter would never win a three-point contest. But I knew at the time it wasn't a matter of me not winning, it was just a matter of my approach towards it, and when I finally approached it towards looking at it as a game situation, but I didn't have to play any defense.
The list keeps rolling because Bird never discriminated when it came to handing out lessons. Young Dennis Rodman, all limbs and attitude, found himself on the receiving end early in his career. Bird would catch the ball, glance over, and start calling out exactly where he planned to go and what he planned to do. Like a magician announcing the trick before pulling it off perfectly. Rodman tried to stay physical, tried to use that crazy wingspan, but Larry just kept talking, kept shooting, and kept making everything. By the end of those matchups, the future rebounding machine looked like a guy who had just realized the boogeyman was real, lived in Indiana, and shot jumpers with deadly accuracy. It was the kind of performance that turned swagger into silence in record time.
I'm really getting to my swing, and I'm really becoming a force in the NBA.
Oh, no, I was still green, man. I was still green. I was just still following people's levels, man, and trying to figure out what is my position in this game. Stuff like that. I'm used to scoring in college, rebounding, And then, Isaiah pretty much like my mentor, pretty much, and Chuck Day is like my father, and I love him. But I was just playing the game just because I love playing the game. I didn't know.
On Rodman's statement.
I'm glad you started over there.
Dennis Rodman is a wild dude, to say the least. Dennis Rodman said some wild things. This is absolutely absurd. The idea that he play in Europe, I don't even think we need to talk about that. That's just ridiculous. He said he would be in Europe, so maybe he meant he would go on vacation. Larry Bird doesn't strike me as someone who takes a lot of European vacations either. So I don't know if Larry Bird has ever been to Europe outside of playing international games for the USA. Other than that, I don't know what Dennis Rodman is.
Moving higher up the countdown, because some nights, Bird did not just beat teams, he embarrassed entire franchises. The Atlanta Hawks had Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight reel, flying around and throwing down dunks that made highlight tapes jealous. In one legendary night, Bird caught fire so hot, the arena needed asbestos gloves just to watch. He started calling his own shots out loud, predicting bank angles, distances, and even which defender would get burned next. Wilkins tried to match him bucket for bucket, but Larry treated the whole game like a personal clinic. He crossed him up, drained threes from absurd spots, and left Dominique and the rest of the Hawks half cheering for the spectacle, even while it destroyed their chances. When Bird announced he was dropping one in the trainer's lap from way beyond the arc, and then actually did it, the entire building lost its mind, while the Hawks lost their will to live.
The first play of the game, I'm gone. He said,
I don't know why they got you guarding me, Holmes. And he shoots a 3. And I wasn't mad he made the 3. I thought, this some bitch just called me Holmes. Oh, man, I was so mad. So I'm coming down the left side, and I go up in a fast break, and he comes out, and I'm pumping it behind my head, and he jumps. I said, I got him. Boom. And he's sitting down on the ground. I'm pointing like this. He said, hey, Rook. I'm like, what? He said, I like you. You got balls. But I'm still getting Again, never talked until we retired. And he had an interview, and they was talking about trash talking. And he said, I never said things to offend anybody. He said, you take Dominique. And he said, I said some things to Nick, and he would just smile at me. But he understood what that smile was about.
Yeah.
He said he just came to play. He said, I have more respect for him than any player I ever played against. I never knew he felt.
You cannot talk about Bird destroying opponents without bringing up the man who gave him the greatest rivalry in basketball history. Magic Johnson rolled into the league with all that flash, those no-look passes, and the smile that could light up arenas. Larry met him with a deadpan stare and a bag of tricks that seemed personally designed to ruin Magic's day. In their matchups, Bird would wait for the Lakers to set up their Showtime offense, then pick it apart like a surgeon with a sense of humor. He talked just enough to plant seeds of doubt, hit shots that should not have gone in, and left Magic shaking his head while the Celtics walked away with another win. Those battles were never just games. They were wars where Larry made sure the flashy guard from Michigan State remembered who owned the psychological edge every single time they stepped on the floor.
What did you once say about him? He's the one basketball player you knew who was white that you could take to the neighborhood.
That's right.
And they would accept him immediately.
No question about it, because Larry Bird can really, really play basketball, and he can play with any group of people. It doesn't matter if you're black, you're white, whatever, because he's so smart at the game. Larry Bird was the smartest player I played against.
Wow.
Your rival can make you better.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you think? Your rival
All
can
the
make
time.
you better.
Larry the better player.
I've always said that Larry was the better player. You know,
Really?
because he could do more, shoot from the outside, all those type of things. You know, to us, really, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because what matters to me is that I played against the best. I got to know the man, Larry Bird, and that we got this friendship right.
Disrespect, this ain't nothing bad. So I said, let me see what he can do.
But Larry's had something that most white boys don't have. Just say that. Just keep it real.
Man,
Larry was different now. Larry was different now.
He had a little bit of nigger.
Yeah, he was different now. He was different now. Larry was different now.
That boy, he can play, man. He turned it out. We played on a team in college in a tournament.
The destruction continued against guys who thought size and strength would be enough. Kevin McHale was his own teammate, but when Bird decided to fire up the trash talk on behalf of others, opponents felt it. Against big men who tried to post him up or muscle him out of the way, Larry would just smile that country boy smile and proceed to make them look slow and silly. He would fake one way, spin another, and leave them grasping at air while the ball swished through the net. One night after another, centers and power forwards walked off the court wondering how a guy who looked like he should be fixing tractors instead of playing basketball had just turned them into statues. Bird did not need to scream. A few well-placed words and unstoppable execution did all the heavy lifting.
I was laughing because I was in the All-Star game with you when you walked in and asked who was going to get second place in the three-point contest. When you walked in there, what were you thinking when you made that announcement to the room? Just messing with all those guys like you always did with everybody?
I didn't. I had no clue. I never really practiced. Me and Danny used to shoot some before we went out there, but everybody's sitting there. Everybody's real quiet. You really didn't. You knew the guys, but you never were around them. And nobody's really saying anything. So I walk in and look around, and
let's get ready to go. And Larry stands up, and Larry says a couple other few choice words, and he says, "I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take it out on their rear ends." So I was like, "Oh, all right, so let's go." So we go on the floor. Elbert King sitting there. Larry walks up to Elbert King and goes, "Don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day." And then Albert King looks at him like, "You've been eating hot dogs all day? What's that got to do with me?" And we went out and just hammered him. I mean, we terrorized them. And that was Larry. There was no excuses. I mean, he just played. And I tell you, that was just...
Larry, is Kevin McHale on the list? And what's your relationship with him?
I would not do that to Kevin. Have him to work for me. That's just not fair. I respect the man too much, and we've been through too many battles together to bring him in here and be my coach. I would love for him to be my coach, but it ain't going to happen because our relationship.
Halfway through this list of legendary takedowns, and the stories only get better. Michael Jordan was still carving his own path when he faced off against a veteran Bird who had already seen every trick in the book. Larry treated the young phenom like any other challenger, talking calmly about exactly what he planned to do and then delivering with interest. Jordan brought the athleticism and the fire, but Bird brought the experience and the icy precision that made even the greatest look mortal for a night. Those matchups showed the passing of the torch, yet Larry made sure to singe a few fingers on the way out by dropping performances that left Chicago's rising star muttering under his breath about the crafty forward from the Celtics.
Enjoy yourself, dog. Y'all gave us the run for our money. Yeah. I'll see you. All right, take care. Now you can work on that golf game of yours.
You like Pat Riley? Yeah. Because you've had your confrontations with him.
Oh, I know. I saw him on your show, actually.
You like him? I mean, was he the kind of guy you'd like to play for?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a whole different way of approaching certain situations, and it isn't that bad. Different.
Thoughts on two contemporaries, Bird?
Larry, I think Larry's the epitome of what I saw myself walking away from the game and getting out of the spotlight. You don't see much of Larry now. I think that's something that he chose.
Back in Indiana and cool at it.
Which isn't bad. I like that. I really admire him for doing that.
In fact, he was your main inspiration. Is that not right?
Yeah, he did. Larry used to be a very talented basketball player. He still is. And whenever I was about his height, he used to wear me out in the backyard. And I guess from that determination just to beat him, I guess that made me work hard. Mm-hmm. And, he's just an outstanding basketball player at his height.
Some of the funniest moments came against guys who genuinely believed they could lock him down. Reggie Miller stepped into the league with that cocky perimeter game and immediately ran into the wall named Larry Bird. In one early encounter, Bird looked at the rookie and basically declared himself the best shooter alive, then spent the rest of the night proving it in Miller's face. Reggie tried to keep up, tried to talk back, but Larry just kept draining shots and adding commentary that cut deeper than any crossover. By the final buzzer, Miller had learned one of the hardest lessons in basketball. Some legends do not just play the game, they own the rules and rewrite them while you watch helplessly from a few feet away.
Give me Bird's stats at 30,
At
Paulie.
30.
Because that was an MVP season, I think?
Yeah. Wow. 30 points a game, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block.
Can I answer that question now? Larry Joe.
Yeah. So
Larry
if he
Joe.
averaged 30 back then, you take Larry Joe.
Larry Joe for the win. Larry Joe for the win.
People talk about what was harder, playing against him or being under him as the coach. No question being underneath him. There was so much pressure on us, not only to win every game that we had going back to Boston, which I think we were 9-1 in those 3 years, but every game was it had to be like a game 7. That was his mentality. But man, practices were intense. He didn't talk a lot, but it was, and we wanted to win that Lakers championship in 2000 for him too.
The beatings kept coming for guards who thought quickness would save them. Gary Payton, known as the Glove for his lockdown defense, ran into a version of Bird that turned defense into offense and offense into pure comedy. Larry would call out plays, predict his own shots, and then execute them so smoothly that Payton eventually had to wave the white flag in the form of pure exhaustion and disbelief. One story has Bird so thoroughly in his head that the future Defensive Player of the Year basically admitted defeat mid-game, realizing that no amount of hand-checking or chatter could stop a man operating on pure basketball genius mixed with ruthless wit. Payton left those games a little wiser and a lot quieter than when he started.
They were coming up. See, he didn't even really get a chance to see Hakeem Olajuwon, Dominique Wilkins, and everybody keep talking about that motherfucker Larry Bird. That motherfucker was cold.
Yeah.
He was a cold. Now, he was the first motherfucker legit. Get out. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what nobody say. He can play with anybody in the NBA. I don't care what
Today.
nobody say. today. He will give them buckets.
No list of Larry's victims would be complete without the doctor himself. Julius Erving, Dr. J, floated through games like gravity had taken a personal day off. Bird respected the greatness, but never let that stop him from turning Irving's nights into long exercises in frustration. He would guard him tightly enough to annoy, then drop step-back jumpers or perfectly placed passes that left the Sixers scrambling. In their matchups, Larry turned the graceful highlight machine into just another guy trying to keep up with a skinny white guy from French Lick who shot with laser accuracy and talked just enough to make sure the lesson stuck. Erving earned his respect the hard way, night after night of watching Bird dismantle what everyone else thought was unstoppable.
You and Bird not get along? The irony is we did get along. It's just that when somebody plays for Boston and somebody else plays for Philly, if you have to get on the court and play with one another, you're not supposed to.
Versus Boston.
The history, yeah.
And Boston, Philly, the rivalry. We didn't like them. The year they won the championship, we knocked them out in the first round. And there was just a rivalry, man. There was a love-hate rivalry with Boston and Philadelphia. And the irony of that is, Larry and I did stuff together. Me, him, and Magic. All three of us, we were the first three Converse guys. Well, I was there first and then we signed them.
Rounding out the top moments brings us to one of the coldest performances in NBA history. Bird dropped 60 points on the Hawks in a masterclass that still gets replayed decades later. He was in such a zone that he started calling out specific spots on the floor, telling defenders what was coming, and then delivering like a man who had already seen the future and liked his odds. The Hawks bench, the coaches, and even some of his own teammates could only watch in awe as he carved up the defense from every angle. That night was not just about scoring. Instead, he found his way deep into their heads, set up shop right there in their doubts, and redecorated the entire mental space with layers of embarrassment and regret that lingered long after the final buzzer. From wide-eyed rookies bursting with promise to battle-tested superstars who thought they had seen everything, nobody stayed safe once Larry decided the night belonged to him. He would stroll onto the court looking like the friendliest guy in the gym, then unleash a combination of pure skill, basketball intelligence that bordered on psychic, and that razor-sharp tongue that cut deeper than any crossover or blocked shot ever could.
Points by a Celtic in one game, and McHale didn't set it more than a week ago. Rivers fouls record with 56. Amazing. He does. It's on the baseline coming out right. There's Bird. Bird, 14 seconds, he got fouled. He hit the shot. They're not going to count it. And Bird falls into Joe O'Toole. They're not going to count it. I think it's the greatest shooting exhibition I've ever seen.
Number one team is reunited, and Dennis Johnson misses a shot. Rebound Bird. Bird on the baseline. Great pass. Oh, what a pass. Great Bird to McHale.
He passed that ball from behind Scott Hastings back to McHale for the layup.
That's a nice pass. By 1 inch.
Grown men who earned millions for their toughness suddenly stood speechless on national television, staring at the rafters and wondering how everything had gone so wrong so quickly. These performances went far beyond ordinary wins that might show up nicely on a stat sheet. They created permanent memories burned into the minds of everyone who dared step across from him, whether they wore a rival jersey or even sat on his own bench. Bird had this rare ability to make the game look personal without ever raising his voice much above a casual drawl. He turned arenas into classrooms where the lesson plan always featured the same subject: humility delivered with a smile. Opponents walked away questioning every basketball decision they had ever made, every ounce of confidence they brought into the building, and sometimes even why they chose this profession in the first place. The guy who looked least athletic by modern standards, with that country boy build and those deceptively slow first steps, proved night after night that he was the most dangerous predator roaming the hardwood. While others relied on flash and raw power, Larry weaponized anticipation, precision, and an almost unfair understanding of angles, timing, and human psychology.
Doherty told me this story when he was like second year in the league and they were in the playoffs against the Celtics. Down one, Larry Bird catches the ball in the deep corner and he steps back for a three. And before he takes the three, he's like, oh wow, he's going for the win. He's not going for the tie. And so Brad Daugherty runs out, and he head fakes him. And as he head fakes him, now it's 3-2. He hits him on the butt with the ball, and then he shoots it at the buzzer.
Go Jokic versus Larry Bird in their prime.
Yeah, so that would be Larry Bird.
Yeah. Because he's just a more skilled, you think, player on the court, one-on-one?
He was built more of a one. Larry Bird would probably beat LeBron one-on-one.
Really? Larry Bird would beat LeBron James one-on-one. Ooh.
Because one-on-one, it takes away from everything LeBron has, right? His physical strength, his speed, right? And, you know, all that power he has going. Well, in one-on-one, you're talking about 1-2 dribbles. That's not his
pointers.
Yeah, that's not it.
Basketball fans still laugh about these stories today, swapping them like treasured folklore because they capture something perfect about the era and the man. Here was the skinny forward from French Lick, Indiana, who talked trash with the charm of a small-town neighbor while dismantling futures one perfect jump shot at a time. His sarcasm never felt mean-spirited on the surface, yet it landed with the force of a sledgehammer wrapped in velvet. He destroyed confidence and altered careers with nothing more than a well-timed comment followed by an impossible shot that should not have existed outside of video games. Players who faced him carried those nights with them for the rest of their lives, telling tales of the time Larry Bird made them feel 2 steps slow and 10 IQ points behind. The NBA has never quite been the same since Bird patrolled the court. He raised the standard for what mental warfare could look like in a game already filled with physical giants. Future generations studied his film not just to copy his footwork or his release, but to understand how one man could dominate without ever seeming to break a sweat. Those 10 moments stand as proof that true greatness mixes talent with personality in a way that entertains as much as it terrifies.
KC is coaching us, Casey Jones, who had
coached Boston. Yeah.
So he catches the ball on the left side. He catches the ball and looks over at our bench and goes, I'm going to take 2 dribbles right, crossover left. So we're all on the bench like, this dude's...
And Derek McKee is on him.
And Derek's on him. Don't let him do that to you, D. He takes his 2 dribbles, crossover, pull-up jump shot.
Wow.
And looks over at our bench, and we're all looking at each other like...
Think about who was the best three-point shooter.
I'm gonna go with Larry Bird because I've heard that he's won multiple ones, and that's during his prime.
Yep,
that sounds like a good answer. I'll go with Larry. I'll go with Larry Bird too.
And Maurice,
I'm thinking Larry Bird as well. Let's all agree.
I feel like we all got it wrong. It feels like that guy from Seattle. I don't know his name.
Dale Ellis.
Dale Ellis.
Yeah. Was it Dale Ellis or Larry Bird?
No, you guys are all right.
Okay.
It was Larry Bird.
Okay.
Larry Legend did not just win games. He collected souls, minted lifelong stories, and reminded everyone watching that basketball at its best is equal parts skill, showmanship, and psychological masterpiece. Decades later, the laughter continues because deep down, we all recognize the beautiful truth. There was only one Bird, and the league is still catching up. So what are we supposed to do with a guy like that? Larry Bird turned the NBA into his own personal comedy stage, where the punchlines came in the form of swished jumpers and shattered egos. He proved that you did not need to look like an athlete to haunt opponents' nightmares for decades. Every time a defender sagged off him by half a step, Larry made them pay with interest, and then asked if they wanted seconds. He elevated trash talk from childish insults into something almost artistic, a quiet Midwestern drawl that somehow sounded louder than any arena roar.
He scored 9 times or 8 times in a row, left the court to go lay down because he couldn't sit on the he had to lay down because of his back. And said, young fella, look like 84, huh?
Last time he made
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow. I said, so that's
all of a sudden we playing and I'm G'ing him up and he slow balled me. That's where I got the slow ball, put your back to your back like this, and his back was bad during this time. So he went right to that corner and I'm up on him, I'm under him, and he said, young fella, what did I tell you I was gonna do? And he turned around, raised up, looked around, it was all draws.
And I said, I ain't gonna mess with you no more.
Young stars today watch those clips and laugh until they realize the same moves would cook them just as badly in their prime. Bird did not chase highlights. He manufactured moments so ridiculous that highlight reels still apologize for not doing them justice. He left the league richer in lore, poorer in unchallenged confidence, and forever changed how players approach the mental side of the game. Opponents did not just lose matches against him, they lost arguments with their own reflections in the locker room mirror. In the end, Larry Legend did not merely dominate basketball. He reminded the entire sport that the most lethal weapon on any court will always be the perfect blend of genius, guts, and a little well-timed country sarcasm. The rest of us have been trying to recover ever since, still chuckling, still speechless.